Imagine being born into a palace where golden chandeliers hang above silk-covered halls, where servants address you as Your Grace, where your every move is steeped in ceremony and your blood is believed to be divine. But what if that divine blood was your curse? In royal Europe, power was inherited, and so was madness, disease, and deformity. For centuries, monarchs married their own cousins, nieces, even uncles, not for romance, not even for alliance, but for preservation. Preservation of power, of territory, of blood, and while the crowns remained intact, the bodies and minds of their children did not. Today, we dig into the haunting tales of history's most inbred royal women. Women cloaked in silk, drowning in tradition, but twisted by genetics. Stories buried beneath jewels and lies. This is History Uncovered. Why royals inbred, a strategy that backfired. From the sun-soaked courts of Spain to the icy palaces of Russia, from the golden halls of Vienna to the estates of England, royalty was obsessed with lineage, but not just any lineage. Pure blood. In their eyes, bloodlines were sacred. Marrying outside the noble circle meant polluting the line, weakening the claim. So instead of expanding their tree, they looped it. First cousins married first cousins. Uncles married nieces. In some cases, a man's grandmother was also his aunt. They called it a political strategy, but science calls it genetic roulette. Recessive genes, when isolated, hide, but when repeated, they surface. Generation after generation, these choices resulted in fragile bones, misshapen jaws, mental breakdowns, infertility, an early death. The cost? Unseen at first, but it would echo through history. Juana of Castile, the mad queen or victim of the bloodline, a woman who, in her youth, was known for her intelligence and piety. But history remembers her by another name, Juana la Loca, Juana the Mad. She was born into greatness, the daughter of Ferdinand and Isabella, the monarchs who unified Spain and sent Columbus across the Atlantic. But their marriage wasn't just strategic, they were second cousins. And Juana's grandparents? Also blood relatives. She inherited a brilliant mind, but also a genetic cocktail of instability. At 16, Juana married Philip the Handsome, the Archduke of Austria. And she loved him, desperately. Too desperately. When Philip died young, Juana's mind shattered. She had his body preserved. She slept beside his coffin, whispered to it, protected it from imagined threats. She wandered at night, barefoot in mourning clothes, searching for him. Her court called it madness. Her family called it shame. But today, modern historians and geneticists wonder. Was it psychosis brought on by trauma? Or was it inbreeding-induced mental illness, a hereditary time bomb she never escaped? Juana spent 46 years in confinement, not for crimes, not for treason, but for being a daughter of bloodlines too proud to change. Maria of Portugal, a princess destined to die. Some royal tragedies unfold over decades. Others, in mere years. Maria of Portugal was born into the royal houses of Portugal and Spain. A lineage so tightly wound, her parents were uncle and niece. Her family tree didn't branch. It looped. And Maria paid the price before her life truly began. She was married off by age 10, a pawn on the chessboard of empire. By 17, she was dead. Her life was marked by mystery and illness. Caesars racked her body. Fevers came and went. She suffered disfigurements and sudden collapses. The court whispered of curses, of spirits, of divine punishment. But it wasn't divine. It was genetic. Today, we know these symptoms as markers of severe inbreeding. Diseases passed down not from enemies, but from her own blood. Maria was called beautiful, delicate, a rose of the court. But in truth, she was a rose grown in a glass cage, fragile from the inside out, withering under the weight of tradition. The Habsburg women, empire built on a broken foundation. If one family embodies the danger of royal inbreeding, it is the House of Habsburg. Powerful, vast, legendary, and utterly cursed. Their men were famously disfigured, with the Habsburg jaw, a protruding lower jaw so extreme, some could barely eat or speak. But their women? Their suffering was quieter. Invisible to portraits, but written in their bones and blood. Maria Anna of Spain, daughter of Philip III, was the product of two first cousins. She was painfully shy, sickly, and prone to illness. She spent much of her life bedridden, unable to attend court functions. Then, she married her own uncle, Emperor Ferdinand III, continuing the cycle. She wasn't alone. Habsburg women suffered from miscarriages, depression, deformities, and sterility. They were kept behind palace walls, their illnesses hidden with makeup and layers of silk. Their lives weren't glamorous. They were sacrificial, offered up to protect a name, a house, a legacy. But behind every royal marriage was a medical disaster waiting to unfold. Queen Victoria's hidden curse, the hemophilia plague. Not all curses are visible. Some hide in the bloodstream. Queen Victoria, the most powerful woman of the 19th century, was a carrier of hemophilia, a deadly blood disorder that prevents clotting. One small cut could lead to death. Victoria herself wasn't heavily inbred. But when her daughters married into Europe's royal houses, the gene spread like wildfire. To Germany, to Spain, and most famously, to Russia. Her granddaughter, Tsarina Alexandra, became Empress of Russia and mother to Alexei, the hemophiliac heir. Alexei suffered constant internal bleeding. His pain was unbearable. No doctor could help. In desperation, Alexandra turned to Grigory Rasputin, a self-proclaimed mystic. His influence over the family grew. And with it, public distrust of the Romanovs. That distrust helped fuel the Russian Revolution. A family fell. An empire crumbled. All from a genetic mutation passed through love and blood. Victoria's legacy? Not just progress and expansion, but a royal blood curse whispered through history. Charles' two sisters, the forgotten victims. We often hear of Charles II of Spain, the king so inbred he could barely chew food or produce heirs. But few remember his sisters, who suffered just as deeply. Margaret Theresa was painted by masters like Velázquez, a doll-like figure in extravagant dresses. But her beauty masked a tragic truth. She was frail, possibly infertile, and riddled with genetic issues. Married to her own uncle, she died at just 21, after multiple miscarriages. Her sister, Maria Anna, was married into yet another branch of the Habsburg family. She lived longer, but not better. She too bore the marks of inbreeding. Physical weakness, reproductive problems, and episodes of depression. They were raised in luxury. But they died in silence. History remembers their portraits, but not their pain.